at 2 o'clock. So welcome everyone, and Happy New Year. Seems like COVID's having another run at us, so hopefully things will settle out pretty soon. By the time we get to the March meeting, maybe they'll really be down. So let's hope. So the first thing on the agenda that you should have an agenda, and you should have also the November minutes. And I know not everybody here was on the November meeting, but I believe we have a quorum for those who were here. Yes. So can someone make a motion to accept the November 10th minutes?
So moved.
I'm sorry, who is that?
Alexis.
Okay.
I was there that meeting.
Okay. Yeah, you were. And a second?
I'll second. It's Sharmise.
Okay, thank you, Sharmise.
You're welcome.
Any questions, corrections, discussion? Okay, motion to accept? Just raise your hand. Okay, so moved. Okay, I don't, hey, Sherry. Good morning. Say good morning.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
I was going to say good morning back to you. Hi, sorry I'm a little late joining.
Oh dear. Such is the day. So I don't think we have Edith or Lori on just yet. So that would be the next thing on your agenda. And what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and move that down a little bit. And hopefully Edith will be able to give us an update on the revision of the pamphlet shortly. But the next thing on your agenda is actually the website. And, Linda, I know we briefly discussed it earlier. Do you want to just do a recap of where we're at?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I think as we've previously announced that we were, last time we met, we were planning on meeting, and we did meet, Denise and I did meet with the Judicial Branch Web Board. We had a really good reception from the individuals about not only how to get a page on the Judicial Branch website for healthcare providers, but also a way of highlighting the RFI when it is posted. A lot of good feedback on that. It is in process. I'm hoping that by the time we gather again in March, it will be available. Was that slick? Huh? I looked at the agenda right there for that date. I'm hoping it will be done by March, but we will certainly, if it comes out before that, we'll send an email out so folks can look at it.
Thank you, Linda. Any questions about that? Okay. The other thing that I really want to talk about a little bit under the website development really is, and thank you to Sherry Watson, who was tremendously helpful in obtaining information to post an email about the SAFE program. That actually went out December 8th to the Connecticut League for Nursing, which, Sherry, correct me if I'm wrong, but that had like about 4,500 or so nurses in the league.
Yes, it's a listserv to 4,500. I have an update for CNA when you're done about their
great.
Too.
So so that email went out on the 8th, and within, I would say, 2 days, I had in the neighborhood of 30 responses, which it's actually, that doesn't sound like a lot compared to the number, but it actually is very, very good. And of that 30, we actually do have 11 who are in the process of applying to be in the SAFE program. that is a huge accomplishment. The request for interest or RFI, which is essentially the application to be in the SAFE program, comes out 2 times a year. It came out on Monday, and we have 11 people from that email that are applying to be in the SAFE program, which is wonderful. This has just been a real blessing to us. And so hopefully, Linda and I were talking, Sherry, maybe we might just need to make a practice of this and just drive them when the website gets up. We'll drive them towards the website too.
Yes, definitely. And they're more than willing to continue to send it out. And I can have them resend it now that it's January. But I just got the information from CNA, which is what I am representing here. So, but I finally got through to them, and I'm just trying to figure out all their paperwork and trying to get in touch with them to have a meeting, because I don't think it's really, I have to do all this paperwork. But beyond that, they should be sending out to all of theirs, and they have a lot more current nursing that could be reached in the next 2 weeks. So that should be another wave. And then the CLN was the one that they do a lot more of the nurses who are not in the acute care. So they're reaching a lot more of the academics and other nurses that are, not actively working at the bedside, but still are doing clinical and still care about nursing in the state. So they'll definitely be reaching some different platforms there. So, but in 2 weeks, and Denise, I'll give you an update as soon as I can get through to CNA, what I have. But I have enough, I think, to fill it out if they need really all that information.
Okay, that would be one. Then you and I could talk off, off meeting a little bit and share a little bit.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So all good news. And so does anybody have any questions about what we're doing with the website, with the email blast, with building the program? Okay, so just as I'll tag a little bit on what Sherry was saying about the academic side of things. It was very interesting because when they all emailed me, they all started almost to a person. They all started off with their clinical experiences. So yeah, because they knew that this was I think a clinical program. But it's a wonderful thing to have people who are advanced practice, or who are going to school to be advanced practice, and who are in the academic world, because there's a lot of space for them in this program to help really make it a more robust program. So we're very, very excited about that. And then do we have
Edith is here.
Okay, Edith, I'm sorry, I'm looking for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Edith. I'm here.
Okay, there you are. Yeah, Edith, could you, is Lori on with you?
Laura will be on the call at 2:30.
Okay.
She'll be on from 2:30 to 3. I believe she finished with the brochure and the little fold-out cards and things like that. But she's going to explain further when she joins the call.
Okay, so maybe with that said, if you all will be flexible enough to let me do this, I can move ahead to the update on the annual competency days and the list of SAFEs, and then we can go back to the pamphlet. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. Yeah. So we did finish. We had our last 2 annual competency days. One was in November, one was in December. We didn't end up with quite as many on the list as I had previously thought, because some basically declined, and some I did not hear from. And then there were a couple who I thought would have finished their training and were not able to finish the fall class. There were a couple in that category, which took place after our November meeting. But I am going to share with you. Let's see if I can do this. Can everybody see that? Can everybody see the list?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So this is a draft. You see draft written on there because certainly the appearance, the wording can change. This was simply a draft, but you can see that at the top is simply a definition of what a safe is and references the statute that provides the basis for what we are doing. And these are the names, and they are, you see last name, first name, kind of going down there. I didn't number them. We can certainly do that. I did not, but I didn't put a number. It's about 105 here. But you can see from in the first column from top to bottom, and then this a second column, A to Z, and it's just simply first name, last name. You know, these will be updated 2 times a year as it kind of sort of ends up with a little explanation that the list will be updated 2 times a year as safe training is held 2 times a year. As we talked about previously, and certainly Edith, we need to probably work out the, you know, how this will happen, the actual process of maintaining it, who can access to it, where it will be. But it simply says it'll be maintained at the Department of Public Health through their website, and who, as we discussed in the last Safe Advisory Committee meeting, who will have access to it. So went to PA 19114 and basically to put out the definition of, basically these are the hospital emergency rooms. Definition of a licensed hospital with an emergency department as stipulated by PA 19, should be as defined by PA 19114, and 2 healthcare providers who have completed safe training. So what I would like to ask you to do, and I'm going to keep this up here for the moment so you can continue to see it. And see what you think needs to be changed about this. So what I'm looking for from you all is, what changes would you have made to this?
Can I just ask if there are thoughts of putting the hospital that the SAFE is affiliated with, or maybe their area, like New London County or New Haven County? I don't know if that makes a difference.
We thought about doing, that's a good question. We thought about doing that, but there has just been so many changes. If I put it up there with the hospital, by the time we got to 6 months down the road, a certain percentage of these will have changed where they're working at.
So I guess, are we using this like we have to get the name of the person? We're like cross-referencing that they're really safe eligible?
Yeah, so yes, in a way, it's basically if someone who has completed safe training applies for a position at an emergency department different from the hospital they're currently working at, and they put down that they're safe, the hospital can then go verify that they are actually on that list. That's really the major intent. And then if you have a safe who maybe they're questioning whether or not they're on this list, and they want to just verify that they're on this list, then that gives them the opportunity to be on this list. You know, we did make the decision in the last meeting that those were the only 2 groups that would have access to it. There was some discussion that prosecutors wanted, and I've heard this from prosecutors, from a couple of them, that they would like to have access to this list. But we're very hesitant, and I know Denise Poncini, please feel free to jump in here. But I know that there was a concern about, if you did the training, you were on this list, then you were automatically thought of as an expert. And really, what the purpose of this list for is to identify who can practice as a safe in the state of Connecticut, and who has fulfilled the requirements of the Public Act 19114. Does that make sense? Okay.
Denise, it's Sarah. Would it be useful to have dates on here, like maybe expiration or years? Or I'm just thinking, like, for me to find it even more useful, I could have an expiration near like when I'm nearing my annual renewal, something like that.
Certainly we could do that if the Safe Advisory Committee was amenable to that. We do have the expiration dates, but the way it works is they do have to attend for 3 years, because as you know, there's a 3-year expiration date on the certificates. So they have to attend an annual competency day, one day a year, annual competency day for 3 years. And then that certificate gets renewed for another 3 years. So we would have to find a way to consistently identify the expiration dates. We can just probably put their certificate dates on there. But with that understanding, we would have to probably provide that explanation in there. Does anybody else have any questions? And we can, once we are done with the questions and you're finished looking at this, then I can go back to the group and we can discuss it.
I have just a couple of comments. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I agree that a date is helpful, and if not a date for each individual on the list, at least a date that the list is current as of. And then maybe some further explanation that there are continuing education requirements that are ongoing. And as of this date, all of the people on this list have met that date. I would also suggest, in addition to citing the Public Act, that we make some revisions, because it's 2 years old at this point. It's been codified into various statutes, that we be a little bit more specific as to the statute, and perhaps as amended by PA 19-114. We can look at that. And a very specific definition of what a safe is by the statute, because they're not just nurses. They could be other than nurses.
Yes, that's why it says healthcare provider versus nurse.
Right. So I think we should be a little bit more specific and use the definition from the statute. And I
don't know that it does. The statute, it defines the role. I'm not sure that it defines what it is, but certainly we can certainly cite it and use that citation.
Okay.
And I was going to make the same comment as Denise about, not referring to PA 19-114 necessarily. It's, it's not as clear as actually directing them to the statute, which could also have changed since that Public Act. So, it's not actually, could not actually be reflecting the most current version of the statutory language, which is really what you should be.
So you say by statute?
Yes.
I'm saying, like, for instance, in the next year, there could have been another change to that same statute, but when you look back at PA 114, it's only going to show you what was current at that time.
At that time, yeah.
So you should really use the statutory language versus public acts when they're available. And like Denise said, it's been 2 years, so it should be reflected that, whatever is in the current statute should reflect everything that 114 has.
Right, so we should say it's instead of PA 19-114, it should be 19A 112G.
Right, or whatever part of that full statute you're referring to, depending on what you add or not add. But yeah.
Yep.
Right. If you send it to me, Denise, after the fact, we can tweak it.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
I think Sharmise has her hand up.
Oh, sorry, Sharmise. Let me just tell you what, I'm going to stop sharing. That way I can see everybody.
It's okay. I was just going to say, and I think it was at this meeting, and I'm trying to remember whether it was at this meeting or last meeting, but we had talked about, it is good practice for the safes to testify, and there may be some who are willing to serve like on a case and testify on a case and testify in kind of like an expert capacity. And so while prosecutors want access to the full list, maybe not the full list, but if there's a way to identify some safes who would be interested in kind of getting that practice, I think that would be helpful. But it should be up to them to kind of identify themselves as willing to testify in a case. And it's a lot easier to testify in a case where you didn't do the kit, right? And you're just kind of testifying to what's done and what it means and what happened. So that's
okay.
just
All right. It is a very good thought. You know, I know that testimony is one of those things that safes get nervous about because they do it so few times. Any other thoughts? And certainly, Denise, I'll send this over to you and we'll talk back and forth.
Okay.
And then if it's okay with everybody, we can certainly wait until the March meeting. We'll present a more formal, more official document. But I wanted, as we've been working at this for a year, I wanted to be able to send everybody kind of sort of the list of where we were at. And of course, we'll be adding to this 2 times a year. So it's something that, with that in mind, we do have to, you know, it has to have the capacity as well to contain quite a number of names. So we'll also look at that process as well. But it's a start. So any other questions or comments on that? Okay, Edith, do you want to go ahead and go back to the pamphlet? I know Lori won't be on for a few more minutes, but do you want to go back? Are you able to go back and maybe do a recap?
Sure. So I think the last meeting that we had collectively with myself and Lori, she was just explaining how, I think she actually showed examples of possibly how the pamphlet would look, the images, the content, some of the topics of the content. I'm actually trying to look now to see if I can pull up something from her. And I'm thinking that she will show that later on today, but just to give you examples of, sorry about that, examples of what she's completed already. And to me, it looked pretty good. So bear with me just for one moment. I'm just going to bring up some images here, just to give us a better idea of what she did. But after reviewing what she had, she went ahead and said that she was going to translate the product into Spanish as well, which is great. And she, you know, incorporated the ideas that were discussed earlier. And let me just bring up one more document that she showed.
Just so you guys know, I don't know if Edith's going to be able to show, because like on my screen, the share screen is not showing. So I don't know if you guys need to enable something, because it says only meeting organizers and presenters can share.
Oh, okay. I understand what you mean.
I think we had to do that last time, Denise, too. It's kind of jogging.
Yeah, I'm actually going to see if I can find it on here. Although I'm not seeing it right off the bat.
Oh, technology, I'm telling you.
Are you in the calendar, Denise?
I'm actually on Outlook because it was sent to me.
Oh, okay. You may not be. Who sent it to you?
Lori did. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm wrong. It was Edith. Edith, is it the DPH Sexual Violence Prevention Program resources? No, that was July. I apologize. Edith, I don't have it. I was not able to find it on that short moment. So because I know she's going to be here in a few minutes, but so she was going to translate it into Spanish, or was it Portuguese?
Edith, you're on mute in case you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, so in the email, she did say she would translate it in Spanish, but I do believe we talked about other languages as well, so I don't think that should be a problem for her to do. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to try to send you the email that she sent with the final.
Yeah, if you sent that to me, I could probably bring it up.
Okay, let me try. Hold on just a second.
Apologies, everyone. I think we're after 2 years, you'd think we all get used to the technology.
I had the same worry this morning for my 2:30 where I said, are we going to be able to let them share? I can't remember if that's default or not.
Sorry, I'm just locating the email that I should send it to.
Okay. Should be Denise.Covington.
Okay.
So while we're working on this, does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask about this?
Lori just joined, Denise.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Lori?
Hi, I was just waiting my turn.
No,
Hello,
yeah. You're on stage.
Thank you.
Good
Sorry.
afternoon, Lori. How are you?
Good. How is everyone?
Great, thank you.
Doing well.
Thank you for having me. So I think what we want to do, you wanted to see the I'm going to try to, I don't know if I've screen sharing right. So let's see if I do. No, I do not. So I can email you. Why don't I just email you, Jean? Do you want me to do that? Or Denise?
You can email me.
I can email you the files right now.
Mm-hmm.
So just give me a second to do that. Okay, hopefully that's in your inbox. So I can actually send these files to everyone. I think that Edith and Denise and the rest of you just wanted to review it before we stamped it as final. It's the English version of the new brochure that identifies all of the locations for providers that can help in case of a sexual assault, and information on HIV and other STDs. And there's an accompanying business card that we spoke about. It's all in English. So once the English is approved and you're happy with it cover to cover, we'll move forward with translation. And likely what we'll do with the card is maybe we'll make a card that's both English and Spanish, and those weeds we can figure out later on, but certainly want to get your eye on this before we move forward with anything that can't be undone easily.
Lori, I'm waiting for it to come through. Just be aware that sometimes they have this little security
Yeah.
screen on it that they
Yes.
kind of wait. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, and there's a PDF attachment, so this is definitely subject to that. But it did go out. We've been having our own internet issues, so I understand.
Yeah, when it comes through, then I can bring it up, but we're just waiting. So can you talk a little bit about, while we're waiting, a little bit about the changes between what they saw the last time and what the changes that you've made since then?
Yes. So primarily the changes were some of the imagery you wanted to change, so we did that. I'm going to just open it on my end. And we corrected some of the name was wrong. It was actually very minor changes from last version to this version. What we did also send to you, Denise, is a summary of the sections that were added, the narrative sections that were added as they correlate to the statute. So you'll find those there. We added an image to represent diversity. It's an illustration, not a photo. And those were the main ones.
Yeah.
I think those
it's
were
still
the main.
not through yet, so I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, those were the main changes. I think that there wasn't too much. There weren't too many comments, as I recall from last time. And of course, and we finalized it with the QR codes. That was a big addition.
Oh yes,
So
that was a.
So the QR codes, by the way, are linked to pages that we researched and found that we thought might be useful for the victim. You may not want to use those pages. Just let us know, and we can use different ones. I'm going to send it again, Denise.
Yeah, I was checking junk just now, just in case it got down there, but it's not there.
Yeah, it's in my outbox. So
yeah,
just one more time, and I'm sending it to denise.covington@jud.ct.gov.
Yes. I mean, eventually it will get here.
Yeah.
So maybe what we'll do when we know that we're going to do something like this, we'll actually make arrangements to have it in advance a little bit. So
okay, yeah,
make it a bit easier.
And also, if you want to defer your comments and send them by email or another way, I don't want to hold up your meeting for this. That's fine as well. Whatever you like.
So tell you what, why don't we go to Pat, because Pat I know has a Jesse has your name up, hand up.
I just have a quick question. Sorry, so I haven't seen this yet, and I think I may have seen the other version, but I'm not entirely sure. And I'm just wondering if we at the Alliance will have a little bit of time to review this as an organization, since I think our name is on it as well. It would be really helpful if we could have a little bit of time, agency-wise. I'm just wondering what the timeline is, because I haven't heard anything about timeline, and so if we could just know how quickly you need any comments or revisions from us, and we could have a little bit of time to look over it, that'd be really wonderful.
So as far as for us, yes, you can, of course, whatever time that you need. It's really Edith's call. I'm here, in supporting her and the rest of you. So I don't have any impending need for it. I know that it's still all you. So certainly.
That'd be great.
You let me know when you need it.
Yes, Jesse. You can take the Alliance can take the time that it needs to review it. And give comments just to make sure that we have everything ready to go for printing. So that's fine.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
So it seems like it's kind of the story of the day that we're going to be switching all around. So Lori, if you and Edith, if y'all could just hang on for a little bit, because it's still not in my inbox. Pat, would you be willing to go ahead and provide the training report, and then maybe by that time it'll be in the inbox?
Certainly. Also, if it's easier, Denise, if you go into the calendar under meeting options, you could enable Lori to present, to share the screen, if that's easier. But I'll go on with a training update. So these are exciting times for training. The spring class will be starting, our first day of class will be April 12th, and we've already been in the process of coordinating the curriculum and confirming presenters, and that is going very, very well. Second, in collaboration, Marielle had to leave, but we've been working very well with Marielle, and I'd like to thank her for her support as well as her colleague Christine. And we've been working in collaboration as historically training for the hospitals. They have requested training regarding basic care of the patient who reports sexual assault. So now we're trying something, and we're still doing that, but we're also trying something new, and that is offering CEU approved training. And it's a 2-hour training for providers and a 3-hour training for nursing staff. And we will begin that. We've been working hard on this for months. The PowerPoint's completed, and our debut will be February 22nd. And that training will be for nurses from 9 to 12. February 23rd for providers from 4 to 6. March 22nd from 5 to 7 p.m. for providers, and March 23rd from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. for the nurses. So it really is an exciting time where CHA they implemented a brochure, they're marketing, and they've really, really been wonderful to work with. So we're very anxious to see how many people will participate in the training, and so stay tuned. We will know more for the March meeting. And we still respect the requests from hospitals. And for example, Johnson Memorial, we will be doing a training there for their staff from 8 to 11 on January 27th, and again from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. on February 23rd. We also are very active in providing training for the different sexual assault crisis centers. For example, we will be doing a training for New Britain SACS in March. So, any questions on training so far? All right, I will continue.
Sorry, I have a quick question. It's not exactly on training, but sort of related. When I get requests, sometimes our member centers come to me looking for, like, asking questions about what your availability is. I always point them to you to ask specifically about training. But sometimes I ask for other things, like, oh, we need an updated kit, like we have, that we show to our advocates. What's the best way to kind of put in requests like that?
A request for a kit would go through Danielle Lindgren in the lab.
Fair enough.
And she sets aside kits for training if they meet, certain requirements. Okay. We've also been involved in training for law enforcement. So I've worked with Ann Mahoney. I have completed the PowerPoint for law enforcement, and she's very happy that it'll be a 1-hour training because they're very tight with time, and I feel the PowerPoint is good. Denise has reviewed it, and it's still in the review process from other people, and then we will try to schedule some trainings for law enforcement. Our monthly QAs continue. So those invited are the SAFEs always that are in the SAFE program. And if it's an educational QA, other than case discussion and our case review and discussion, we invite any of the SAFEs in Connecticut that have gone through our training. So for example, January 19th, next week, we have a law enforcement overview. February, it will be just the SAFEs and the SAFE program because it's case review and discussions. And in March, we already have planned the importance of accurate documentation when caring for the patient who reports sexual assault. So again, very, very busy. We're also looking into, as the annual competency trainings that Denise said, we're looking into having those trainings CEU approved. So a lot of work in the background. And any questions at all from anybody? All right. Well, I thank you.
You're on mute would be the favorite phrase. I'm talking and I'm on mute. I apologize. Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
As Pat was saying, lots of things going on in the background. I still do not have, Lori, I still don't have it. And my guess is it'll probably show up tomorrow. And Jean is the organizer. I asked her if she was able to give access, and Jean is not able to do that right now. So Lori, would it be possible for you to send that out? We can send that out to the members for comment. Yes. And I know the Alliance would like to have the opportunity to review it, and that way everybody can just take their time and take a look at it, and then we can. Would it be possible for you to be coming back at the March meeting?
Sure. I mean, and even I can even take comments before then. So
okay,
if you'd like to have it, ready, maybe comments can be collected. I don't know if there's something that you need to discuss among yourselves, though. That might be, you may have to be worked out in a different way. But we can certainly do it by email. Denise, you and I can certainly jump on a call, just the two of us, along with Edith or whatever works. If we wait till March, it might be kind of forever.
I agree. So I was thinking of having those comments and having them compiled and, in time for the March meeting before that March meeting arrives. So Jesse, would that work for you all? So I'm wondering, just come up.
That'd be great.
Actually, believe it or not, it just looks, of course, they have this ATP dynamic delivery. It's advanced threat protection. So it's still going to be a couple of minutes because it always takes a couple of minutes to review. But Lori, why don't we do it that way? We'll just go ahead and send it out to everyone.
Okay.
And then maybe Jesse and Lucy, would a couple of weeks be enough time for you all to look at it, you think?
Yeah, I think that should work fine.
So maybe by mid-February?
Yeah.
Definitely. And then why doesn't everybody send me their comments and reviews by mid-February, by February 14th, and then maybe Lori, you and Edith and I and Linda could maybe have a discussion.
Okay.
So
you know what I'll do to make it easy for everyone also is I'll just create a quick spreadsheet that says, page 1, page 2, page 3. And then if you're going to send comments to Denise, put, your comment in a correlating page. That way we can, quickly sort through it all. And that's fine. That'll be fine. So that'll give me a minute to do that. I'm actually heading out to take a PCR test, not to be telling people my, so I a little bit later on, I'll do it. But now I need to be sending this to everyone that's on the invite. Is that only those people?
You know what you could do? You could actually send that to Jean, and then Jean could take care of getting that out because she's the one that sends out the agenda. She can make sure that everyone gets that.
Will do. I will do that.
That'll make it easier.
Okay. All right. So Jean, you'll have it no later than sometime early tomorrow morning, maybe this evening.
Okay. Thanks, Lori.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate
Lori,
your patience.
for calling in. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So Edith, is there anything else? I know we have been talking about the pamphlet for some time. I don't know if you have any other comments you want to add.
No, one of the questions that I asked Lori before the meeting today was about the printing of the brochure and the cards. I wasn't sure. I believe that, did we say that there was a way to print it in-house for the Office of Victim Services? Would that be, or no? Was that something
I
that
don't
would
think
be?
so.
Okay.
It seems like a long time ago when I made that initial offer, it was when it was a very standard 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, folded in half, and we could handle that. But what I've seen from the last meeting, I don't believe that. I think if I ask for permission, it won't be granted, because I think that's outside really the scope of what our printing folks can do.
Okay. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I'll let Lori know and then discuss with her how we could address that. I wasn't sure if the Office of Victim Services also would, if you have relationship with other printers for other materials like that, or I wasn't sure how that worked within the office.
Again, most of what we produce here is produced by the printing arm of the judicial branch, and any other printing anybody in the branch needs, that has to be done through an RFP process, and we really don't engage in that often.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that information. So I'll relay that back to Lori and see how we can help with that.
Okay. So we'll look forward to really taking a look at it and discussing how to print it, and hopefully closing the loop and really tying this together in March. It's interesting that every class that we have never fails to ask all the questions that they could ask. It's probably the one consistent question they ask from class to class is about resources for victims of sexual assault. And so the need for this brochure and the information has actually just increased. And so I look forward to having something to give to not just our safes, but the safes and other healthcare providers across the state. Looks like it should be very, very good once it's done, though.
Yeah, I'm very excited for what she created, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I thought it would look very professional, very, just kind of a very robust information-packed brochure. So yeah, I think it'll be, once we can get all the nuts and bolts worked out, I think it'll be great. So any questions on anything we've talked about during this meeting? So we've actually done quite a bit of jumping around. Any new business?
Denise, yeah, I'm not sure if this is new business or not, but it's the only place it could go in this agenda. So as you know, Denise has been sharing these meetings for the last few for me. And partly that was a transition because I had been chatting to anyone who would listen that I was going to retire this year. That's been a very different, my wife and I had COVID over Christmas, so we got a lot of time to chat. And there's a lot of very cool stuff happening at OVS right now. And I'd also become aware that I wasn't really ready to retire. I was letting a change in pensions and state level kind of predicate my departure. So I have moved that for 1 year. So the good news or the bad news, people will be stuck with me until, thank you, Lucy, May of 23. And that is the date. There will be no going back on that one. But I'm putting this under new business, is that Denise will take over as the chair of this. I have the statute out, and Denise Poncini, hopefully you'll agree with me, there's nothing in here about a chair. And if I have to go through Judge Carroll for that, I certainly will. But I think retroactively, this is like this third meeting now, Denise, second or third meeting you're chairing. And I'm stepping back to kind of focus on other things here because this committee is well in hand with Denise. So I just wanted to formally say that absent a letter from Judge Carroll, Denise will be chairing, taking over for me as chair of this.
So thank you, Linda. So we're all very thankful Linda's staying, just so you know. It was a relief, and I appreciate all Linda's support throughout these years, and without Linda, and I'm just going to say thank you publicly to Linda, because without Linda, this program wouldn't exist, and frankly, the advisory committee wouldn't exist, and none of this would be in existence. And so we're very grateful that she is staying on for a little bit longer. I did kind of sort of like, you sure you want to another year, but anyways, so we'll look forward to having in the 2022, we'll look forward to having the brochure done, to having a list of safes out in the state, and getting that process ironed out. And we will be taking on new challenges. Denise Poncini has been particularly instrumental, and I want to say thank you to Denise Poncini, because what we haven't really talked about is the fact that she's been working on hospital system-based MOAs diligently, trying to figure out participating, non-participating, how to get all those together, and how to get all the hospitals in the state under the umbrella of training. So thank you, Denise, as well, for all your work. And I know all of you have played a role, and I could go through each and every one and say thank you, and I probably will throughout the next few months and the upcoming year. Any final questions before we conclude? Okay, so next meeting is March 9th. We'll look forward to seeing you all then. And we'll also, I know Jean will get out that what Lori will be sending later. So please look for that coming your way. All right. Take care, everybody. We are adjourned at 2:53, a little bit early. You get part of your day back.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. Have a good one.
Everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.